Hello and welcome to a very late start to the F3 stream here in Azerbaijan. It is round 4 of the F3 Championship here. Hopefully everyone can adhere to the 2-minute wait that we have. Unfortunately, Kingdom Martin has again failed to adhere to the 2-minute grace period, so we could be taken around on the formation lap. I'll be right back in a second, so bear with me. So, welcome to round 4 of the PSF1 Championship here in Azerbaijan for the F3 division here. We're about to get underway as we just see the first of the cars beginning to pull up on the grid now, and it will be underway shortly. We've only got 11 runners today, which is a bit disappointing. Obviously it's bank holiday weekend, so maybe that's the reason for quite a few not being here. Of course, you will notice that Dougie is not with us today. He is also away due to the long bank holiday weekend. So we're just waiting for all the cars to come into position now, and then we'll get underway. So Marklin on pole, Salvatore second, Domain Zane in third. We have 5 red lights here in Baku. And they're away, and there's a McLaren that's lagged off the start. That's Kingdom Martin. And as they come down into turn 1 now, it's Salvatore trying to make a move up the inside. Domain Zane trying to go around the outside. The McLaren making a move there on Liliart, who has joined us for this race. He will be racing for the rest of the season as they come through turn 2 now. A little bit of contact there. The Renault has lost his front wing. That's the Lee. And both the Williams, I believe, have a little bit of damage there. Guys are loading there in all sorts of trouble. K Murati, another debutant as well, he's lost his front wing. Him, the Lee, and also George Roberts in trouble. Guys are loading, seems to have got away with that. That is who is that actually? That's Zalmas. He's in the wall early on. Turn 3 has an interesting place to lose it. Let's just see. Yep, full front wing damage, so he will be in at the end of this lap. Oh, and there's more carnage. George Roberts again with wing damage, and that again is the Lee getting wing damage as well. So currently the from 8th to 11th all have sufficient wing damage, but meanwhile let's get back up to the front. It's Marklin leads his fellow countryman Salvatore in that Mercedes over the Ferrari at the moment. The gap is less than a second. DRS won't be enabled till lap 3 of course, and we have a massive DRS stretch coming down that front straight as they come round into what will be turn 15 in a moment's time. Downhill left-hander, very tricky to spot the braking point here. Can they nail it? Marklin very tidy through there. You see no one getting too wide at the moment. Let's look a bit further back. Oh, and there you go. There's I think that was Frag, in fact, yet getting very close to the wall, but Liliart still holding his position in 5th. It's beginning to close actually on Kingdom Martin, I believe, who had an interesting start. We'll see if anyone makes a move down into turn 1. It looks like it might be Zane, actually. Salvatore seems to have lost time. Has he got wing damage slightly? No, I think he's just out of practice. A little bit rusty as the Ferrari driver. And look at his straight line speed. He's being caught rapidly by the Toro Rosso. Is it going to be enough? Not quite. Marklin, of course, setting the fastest lap as he leads them round onto lap 2 now. As Domain Zane maybe looking for a move up the inside of turn 2, maybe 3. As you can see, so close to the back of the Ferrari now. Can he have a lunge up the inside of turn 3? Maybe not. Did Salvatore get wing damage? No, it was another car that we were seeing damage off there. Zane, can he look to the inside now? As they go into turn 3, he's going to have a late lunge, and Salvatore closes the door. It was risky for Zane there. He didn't make the initial move, which meant that he put his car in danger because it was such a late move, and it could have quite easily lost his wing there. But Salvatore holds second place for now. He is now double his sorry. His lead. His deficit, sorry, to Marklin has doubled, so he was 8 tenths behind this time last lap. He is now 1.5, eventually got there. And Domain Zane, of course, closing in on the Ferrari drivers. We see here camera on the front wing of the Dutchman. Very nice shot there through the castle section. Meanwhile, slightly further down, Liliart right on the back of the McLaren of Kingdom Martin, who again will receive a 10-second time penalty at the end of this race for not adhering to the 2-minute prep period before the race. Meanwhile, let's have a little look further down. As you can see there, the Lee onto the mediums with a fresh front wing. Kamerati has a new front wing and a fresh set of super softs, so he'll be pretty fast at this stage, although that corner doesn't suggest that he will. Zalmas making his way up the pack quickly after that early trouble he had at turn 3. George Roberts rounding out the pack in P11 as they come down the front straight once more. It is Salvatore that's going to have to defend from the Toro Rosso of Domain Zane. How many times have we seen this season already? And there's a yellow in sector 2. We'll look at that in a moment time. And that's Liliart down the inside of Kingdom Martin. And he's making this look easy on his debut. He's going to squeeze the McLaren wide. Plenty of space given there by both drivers. And is he going to get the move done into turn 2? He's going to try and hang around the outside. Great racing from both of them. George Roberts has left the session. He's already felt that 15 seconds is too much after 2 laps. And yeah, of course, lap 3 actually, so DRS is enabled. As you can see there, the rear flap open of that McLaren. And Domain Zane is right behind. Look how close he is to the back of the Ferrari. And Marklin, did he have a little bit of an error there? A little bit of a wiggle coming out of... Oh, he's all over the place. He's struggling to keep the car straight, and as you can see, that gap's come down from 1.5 to 1.1 already. It's beginning to creep back up again now. Salvatore just hasn't got the pace here by the looks of it. As you see there, the back end stepping out once more and just allowing Zane to catch and Marklin to pull away. And he's so slow through the castle section. And I'm pretty sure Zane, as you can see there, right up his gearbox. A little bit of a rear twitch there. Nothing too major, but he's lost a bit of time because of it. And into turn 15 now. Can they spot their braking points and get on down to the front straight? Looks tidy enough from the front 3. But it's Kingdom Martin who's actually got back past... As you know, sorry, he didn't get past Liliart because Liliart begrudgingly let him pass, I'm pretty sure, on that second DRS stretch. Of course, they will have DRS now down this home straight. They didn't last lap because lap 3 is when the DRS is enabled, so they will have DRS now. Zane has just dropped off here, no damage, so he's just made a mistake possibly. Or Salvatore's had a better exit out of that final corner. As you can see that the gap has halved as they come across the line. So he is gaining massively, although the gap's doubled again, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there with the timing screen. But at the moment, it is Marklin from Salvatore, from Domain Zane, from Kingdom Martin, from Liliart, the debutant here today in the Sauber. Frag in P6 from Gaisalodi in P7, the first of the runners not to get a front... I believe he's not had a front wing change. Don't think he has. He's just had a really poor start. And then we've got the Lee, first of the pit stoppers. We've got Zalmas right behind him, and this could be a move for P8 actually as we watch these guys. And then K Murati rounding out the final point scoring position. George Roberts disconnected last lap or 2 laps ago. It's a great camera that I don't want. We're not going to see this move because Codemasters hates me. So there you go. Zalmas making it very easy on the lead. Flown past him. He's about 2 car lengths in front before the first corner even. So he's got superior straight line speed by the seems of it. The Sauber driver. He's already catching guys loading by a mighty rate of knots. And as we see again, Zane catching Salvatore through that castle section. The gap isn't necessarily getting any bigger between Salvatore and Marklin, just keeping it at about 1.5 seconds at the moment. Again, avoiding that apex. You can clip that apex quite heavily, but at the moment it's just not happening for either of these guys. They're just taking it nice and easy. But let's see if he gets a run through the last couple of corners here. Turn 18 and 19. 20 is just flat, and it's not even really a corner. Here it is, as you can see there. Down the front straight now, tucks into the slipstream, although we may have the slipstream glitch in effect because of George Roberts leaving the session. But maybe Salvatore has got straight line speed and he just was in a lower fuel mix earlier on. As you can see, Zane though much better through the corners it seems. So maybe Salvatore just has got increased straight line speed, and Zane is much quicker through the corners, as you can see here. But at the moment Salvatore's doing what he needs to do and keeping the Toro Rosso behind him. Meanwhile, further back, everything sort of calmed down a little bit. Lilly has dropped off of Kingdom Martin, and he's not got any damage, I don't think, so it's not that, just a lack of pace quite easily. And it is quite a scary track, especially when you're doing 200 plus miles an hour with walls so close. And of course the castle section. Oh, did Frag lose a bit of front wing there? Nope, it looks still all intact from my point of view. Zane again getting a bit twitchy on the exit of turn 6, that one is. Coming into turn 7 now. This is the corner before the castle section, so you can't really make a move here, or in fact for the next few corners, because it all tightens up here. As we can see, another front wing shot. Lovely shot here. Oh, and I thought he'd hit the wall, but it was just a bit of lag there. And he's again sideways coming out of the castle section. Out of turn 11, I believe that is. As he comes through 12, 13 and 14, all flat into turn 15 now. Again, avoiding that inside curb. Be interesting to see if any drivers actually try to attack that curb later on in the race. At the moment, Zane just keeping within that DRS range. But it's not enough at the moment. He doesn't have the straight line speed to close in. It's going to have to be an undercut or something. Pit stops will be about lap 10, maybe a bit sooner depending on tyre wear. We may see mediums or softs used. It is a very easy one stop. Tyre wear is good around here as long as you look after your rears. So we'll see what the drivers go for. Again, he's dropped off actually here, 1.2 seconds. So he's had a poor run down the front straight there, even with the DRS in action, and I don't think he's going to get it here. Let's have a little look. Nope, so he's going to struggle here to catch Salvatore, who is actually catching Marklin again. And everything seems to settle down. Zalmas though is catching guys loaded. He's already passed the Lee, and that was only last lap or the lap before, I think it was actually. As we watch the second Mercedes driver come through the final kink at turn 20. Does Zalmas have enough to gain? Don't think so. We've got a yellow in sector 2. That is Kamerati. So, wow, he's had a big crash there because he's hit the wall and then done a 180. So I'm not quite sure how he's managed that, but he has somehow. Marklin still leads the race. 6 laps down, 21 to go. As you can see here, there's a wonderful high speed section into turn 15. A wonderful shot there showing parts of the city of Baku there. We come into turn 16 now. An exit here is very crucial because if you get a poor exit, it really does affect your straight line speed down the front straight. And it looks like Marklin has absolutely nailed it. As you can see, not a car in sight behind him. And there is the physical gap between himself and Salvatore. 1.2 is the time gap. It's not all over yet for these guys. There is a long way to go, and of course a lot of barriers and walls that can be hit. We've got another yellow in sector 2. That is the Lee. Where is he? Oh, it's the castle section, of course it is. At the top of it as well. We don't often see that, but it is that inside wall, as you can see there where he's hit. That front left has completely gone, and his race is over. So we have Kamerati now into 2 points scoring position. Oh, and as I say, that hits the wall. I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether he's using a default setup or what. But if he retires now, he won't receive his points, and he is awful on the brakes. I'm not quite sure what it is. But we currently only have 9 point scorers. And here we are, Zalmas. Does he have a little look? On guys loading, Salvatore's made a mistake somewhere. He's now dropped to 2 seconds. The Sauber on the Mercedes moves to the inside, and it's a very, very easy move for the quick Turk. As he's already proven so far this season, he can run at the front. And a little bit of a poor start. Had that wing damage, of course, at turn 3. And from there, really, it's just all gone. It's all been a recovery mission. So we'll see where he gets back up to today. I would expect him to get... wait, what tyres is he on, actually? Super soft. So he'll probably finish around 5th, maybe 4th. But that's at a very, very big push because, of course, that early pit stop. So we'll see what he does. And we'll keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, Zayn has caught back up to Salvatore, but again, it's not really close enough. And did Salvatore hit the wall there? Nope, doesn't look like it. The gap has come down between him and Marklin as well, so not quite sure what happened there. Zayn again losing about 3/10 on that straight. And more, look, he's losing so much time on the straights. But again, just trying to get closer to the back of that Ferrari, who just isn't really making any mistakes. Not particularly quick, just not making any mistakes. And we'll see if he can catch Salvatore. Camerati is in the pits, and let's see what he's on to. Actually, he can take mediums to the end of the race. He's gone for the mediums, I think. It looked like white walled. Nope, he has gone. Actually, we need to look at this because otherwise we'll never know. He's gone back onto a set of superstars, so clearly he isn't the best strategy caller, and he seems to have gone into AI mode, which means he won't score any points if he continues this way. And George Robinson, of course, that's a session as well, so it means we'll only have 8-point scorers if he decides he doesn't want to drive his car anymore. And he is back, so he will be continuing in this race. All he's got to do is complete the next... Oh my goodness, I thought he hit the inside wall there for a minute. That would have been pretty tragic considering. And he's actually been overtaken by George Roberts' ghost car, which is interesting. Don't see that very often. Back to the leaders then. And again, nothing really happening up front. Hopefully Brazil next week will be a bit more interesting than this. Of course, we only have 11 runners, and that was made 10 very quickly because of the Lee binning it in the castle section. Out of turn 2 then. Kingdom Martin's in the pits. That's it's a fairly early stop, as you can see there, onto the medium tyres. So he's going to do a longer... No, it's not. Yeah, yes, it is. It is mediums. The game trying to troll me as usual. Frag also into the pits. He's responding. He's going on to what looks to be softs, and he's going to get a wing change. And I've got the front... Although, sorry, the rear left is a medium, and they've just glitched. Brilliant. So he is on softs. And that's going to be a tall order, actually. 17 laps on those tyres. He may struggle towards the end of the race. Zalmas is now coming down the back, the front straight as well. Is he going to get him here? Oh, this could be close, actually, between these two. So said pit stops around 9:10. Can be later, depending on tyre wear. But this puts Zalmas back in it, really, because, of course, Frag, having gone so soft, is going to be very slow towards the end of the race, because he's going to have to nurse those tyres. Around the outside he goes. No way, surely can he do it there? Oh, goodness gracious me, that was close. Very nearly got squeezed into the wall there, the Sauber driver. And he's much quicker than Frag, as we can see at this stage. Zayn again losing time. I can only presume that's down that front straight. I'll have a look, actually. Where is he? Oh, and he's lost his front wing. That is game over for Zayn. He's got his pit now. And he can go onto the softs, maybe. And as you can see, Marklin is in. Very cautious on pit entry. This is where Salvatore can gain. Nope, he's going to be very cautious as well. He's actually in ghost mode there, so he's so slow into the pits. But it is going to hold this man up. Or is it? I don't know if he actually got held up here. But this is the one that could be interesting. Nope, Salvatore squeezed out in front, so that's all good there. Lilliard takes the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 10. He'll be happy with himself that he's managed to keep it clean for now. Kingdom Martin is miles behind. Zalmas has just passed Frag, and he's sustained even more wing damage on the front left, so I'm not quite sure how he's managed that. But he has again got wing damage. And you just need to take your time really around Baku, because it's such a narrow circuit and such a high speed circuit. It is like Monaco at times. And you've just got to be so careful, because the walls are absolutely everywhere. Frag all over the back of the Sauber. Is he going to pit? Nope. So he's going to stay out and nurse that wing damage. Defends the inside, cuts back to the racing line. He's allowed to do that, of course. Frag wasn't close enough for it to impede him. And as you can see there, Zane has actually lost about 10 seconds with that wing incident and wing change. Did he just... Oh, he's kicking himself right now over that one. He's just shot himself in the foot. More wing damage. He's on the mediums. He's got to pit onto softs if he wants to get that wing changed, which means he's going to have to nurse those tyres, and he really hasn't put himself in a good position in Zane, which means that Zalmas is going to have a chance, because of course he's got to pit again anyway on those super softs. So we could see a massive change up in the order. Kingdom Martin needs to keep control of that car out of there, otherwise he will clip the wall. You see Salvatore's gap to Marklin. Marklin has pretty much doubled. At this point I think he's just settling for second place. Doesn't really mind that Marklin's in front. Maybe hoping that he puts it in a wall somewhere later on. But Lilly coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Very, very slow pit entry. He's going to have lost a bit of time there. He was fighting Kingdom Martin earlier on, and then he dropped to what I last saw was 2.5 seconds. So we'll see what happens here. Lilly, a pit exit. It's going to be close actually. And Lilly, oh no, sorry, he's not already put his tyres on, so it will be pretty straightforward for Kingdom Martin. There you go, already through. And Lilly will now begin his pursuit on the McLaren driver, and that is Domain Zane in front. So of course Domain Zane's got wing damage, dropped behind, so this is going to give Lilly an outside chance of a podium, because he's only 3.5 seconds off of Kingdom Martin, and he's on mediums. So, and Lilliart's on the soft tyres. He's on younger tyres too. Zalmas has just got back past Frag, and these two are going at it at the moment. He's got a poor exit there because he's clipped that inside sausage curb. Frag has the DRS as well. So obviously the move was made into turn 1 by the Sauber driver. And he holds position for now. Frag looking to go up the inside. Zalmas defending is going to compromise line. And Frag, very, very easy wing damage there. And Zalmas was just defending the line, and Frag completely misjudged his exit speed and has hit the wall again. He's not going to get any wing damage from that though. K Murati back in his car. Yep, he's actually a lap down on guys loaded, although he is still behind him. 8th and 9th place, of course, these two. Oh, that wasn't very clever. And is he going to call it there? No, he's just going to crawl through the cars. Yep, no, he has retired. So he will not score any points. And I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether he's running no traction or what, but he literally drove into the wall, is what I can describe that as. Lilly begins to catch Zane. And K Murati is out. George Roberts is also out, he's left the session. Zalmas with a really interesting exit there, getting a lot of rear tyre spew from that Sauber at the moment. They're just not rubbering in, and lots of spinning. We've got that's not George Roberts, someone in sector 3 has got, I believe, like, yes, K Murati. So that's a bit confusing. Meanwhile, Frag not close enough. Zalmas with wing damage, and Lilliart, this is the one we want to be watching because he has fresh tyres, a front wing which Domain Zane does not have either. He's on older mediums, he's got a front wing with damage, and Lilly probably doesn't know this at this stage, but he is going to be much faster, although he might know it because he's just caught him by about 4/10 in what is basically straights. So he's going to continue to catch here. Let's just see what he does through the castle section. Keep it clean, hopefully. Yep, lovely. Of course, Lilly commentates F1, so he'll be commentating tonight. He'll be back in the commentary box for that one. Make sure you tune in at 8 PM to the PSF1 channel for that race. But at the meantime, he's got his head down, and he's currently fighting for 4th place with Domain Zane. He's run a little bit deep there. We'll see what happens through this little section now. Can he keep it tidy? Can he keep it clean? Looks good from there. Salvatore continues to drop time on Marklin. Lilliard within half a second now. The DRS in action, as you can see there. Rear flap is open. Now, Domain Zane trying to break the slipstream. He's all over the place at the moment, trying to nurse that front wing damage and keep Lilly behind him. So watch Frag actually as he comes down that front straight. He's got wing damage, but so has Zalmas, as you can see that. Front left end plate for both. Is he going to be close enough? I don't think he is. He's too far back and he's not got the straight line speed. Lilly has closed that gap right down though, and he's literally touching the back of the Toro Rosso. He's going to go up the inside, is he? Domain Zane has maybe cocked his braking zone up here. And I think he has. Lilly around the outside. Zane's going to try and defend with that wing damage. Lilly's going to get squeezed into the wall, and they somehow got through. Wow, that was the thinnest of gaps, and he stuck the Sauer up the inside, and hopefully Domain Zane doesn't spin him. He hasn't. Good stuff there. Lilliard brave around the outside of turn 4. That is great racing there from the Sauber driver. Zane knows that he's out of this, or he should know that he's out of this, because he's got older tyres and he's just whacked the wall yet again, and he now does not have any end plates on that front wing at all. And as you can see, really struggling for downforce. He's going to have to pit again, put the softs on, and just hope he doesn't get any more wing damage. Lilliard will fly up the road now. He's got a 3.5 second, just over 3.5 second deficit to Kingdom Martin, who is on the older medium tyres though. So Lilly should be quite quick, and there he is actually. There's the gap. And Kingdom Martin, is he struggling? Let's just have a little watch through this high speed section of turns 18 and 19. Fairly smooth through there, nothing too major. So yep, he will keep that gap, but Lilly seems to have good straight line speed. 3.2 is the gap. It's already come down. Of course, no DRS in action for him this lap. Zane has already lost 3.5 seconds. That's how much that front wing is costing him, and hopefully he doesn't hit the wall. Yep, all good, all tidy, and he'll be in, and he's going to drop behind Frag here, and he's actually got a 5-second stop go as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if he retires at this point, but he can still get decent amount of points. He won't drop behind Zalmas. He's a further 30 seconds behind Frag. So actually those two were together. So oh, he's pitted, that's why, and he's got more front wing damage. So congratulations to Zalmas. He's hit every single wall possible at this stage, I think. Both left and right sides of his wing getting plenty of action. And then Zane exits the pits in P6, and he can go chase Frag, who has to pit anyway. As you may not have to pit, but he's going to have horrible wear because of what tyres he's put on and that wing damage as well. Nice and tidy through there though. And is Salvatore lapping George Roberts' ghost car, and he just continues to fall back from the Mercedes driver. At this stage the gap was 4.0 about a lap ago, and you can see they're just creeping up. 4.2 now. And Lilliard continues to gain. Gap was 3.2 at the end of last lap. Let's see what it is as he comes across the line now. He's still got a sector to go, and he's fairly clean through there as well. He's already gained 8 tenths in the majority of the lap. Let's see if he gains anything on the straight. So it was 2.4 before the straight. As you see, he's already down to 2.2, but the timing seems to have been a bit off coming down this front straight. Zalmas gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and he's done that at turn 7. Oh my goodness, that was close. He would have had to have taken a sharp breath there, I would imagine. But yeah, Lilly is gaining about a second a lap at this stage, and he's got superior straight line speed, although that's not going to help him. He needs to avoid that apex at all costs. Guys, Lodian is only 3.5 behind Zalmas now. But at this stage, Marklin has a very controlled lead over Salvatore. Although Salvatore has pulled that gap down by about half a second in the last lap, so I don't know if Marklin's got wing damage. Nope. He's just taking it easy. He knows this race is won as long as he doesn't do anything stupid. And Salvatore is pretty much settling for second, it seems. Neither of the drivers pushing particularly, and Kingdom Martin is a sitting duck in the last podium position, unfortunately, which means that Lilliard is hopefully going to pick him off. We should see a little battle at the end of the race. But yeah, guys, Lodian is our last runner at the moment. George Roberts has left the session. K Moratti, after hitting several walls, decided to retire and leave the session. The Lee also retiring after hitting the castle section and losing his wheel. He had no choice, he had to retire. And he has also left the session, so 8 runners from 11 isn't really impressive, unfortunately. Lily's struggling through there, but he's continued to gain on Kingdom Martin. And then we'll see how this battle develops. The gap at the end of last lap was 2.2, 2.3. Salvatore beginning to show pace now. That's what we want to see. 10 laps to go. 2.8 is the gap. He's brought that down by a second and 3/10. So he is catching Lily with a little bit of lag there. Nothing too major. 1.8 now the gap. And he continues to catch the McLaren of Kingdom Martin. He's got plenty of time as long as he gets within DRS range and he can just save a bit of fuel, set himself up for a move, and then go from there. So we'll keep an eye on him throughout the race. Zalmas, of course, had to pit again. So he's at the moment, yeah, it's still wing damage as well. Guys loading and falling back though. He's not the quickest of drivers. He tends to get away with most incidents. As you see there, he's taking the apex through turn 15. So he should take that corner. Plenty of curb. Don't be scared to take too much curb there. Turn 16, however, not too much, but he did pretty well there. Liliard continues to drop that gap. Now 1.7. It was 3.2 after he passed Zane. Of course, Zane then pitted. So keep an eye on Lily. See what that gap comes down to. Currently 1.7 as they come through the middle sector and out the castle section. So the battle for what will be first and third is beginning to heat up a little bit. Salvatore closing that gap now to 2 seconds. So he's beginning to push. Liliard has the gap down to 1.7 seconds. That has slowed down quite a bit though. He was catching faster than that, about a second a lap, 2 laps ago or so. Zane is also catching. Oh, there you go. He's actually got a front wing now, so hopefully he can keep that intact. Then he'll pass Frag with relative ease. And of course, Frag didn't pit for his front wing damage, but Zalmas had to, and he's got more front wing damage, so he's really not done himself any favours here today. And Geiselodian just doing his own thing round in 8th place. He'll score 3 points. Sorry, not 3 points. He'll score 4 points in P8. Yeah, he's doing everything he needs to at the moment. Salvatore comes across the line, 1.6 behind Marklin. He is slowly edging there, and let's actually just ride on board for a little bit, see if he's actually pushing. Very smooth through turn 2. Oh, that's a move for P5. That's not where you often see it. He's obviously just suffered a lot of understeer, and he's just missed an apex somewhere, and Zane has gone flying past. Frag will have DRS if he can stay close enough through the high-speed section. Liliard gets his gap down to 1.4. Sauber driver on the charge, and he does have a podium in sight. For Zane as well as to clear Frag by at least 5 seconds. He's got a 5-second stop go that he's got to serve. And Kingdom Martin, of course, I just remembered he's got a 10-second penalty that'll be added to his race time because he didn't adhere to the 2-minute prep period. So Liliard will get a guaranteed podium as long as he can stay within 10 seconds of Kingdom Martin, which I'm presuming he will, and hopefully he will, because those softs should have plenty of life in them yet. So hopefully he can hold off and get a podium. It would be good for him. Debut race. Not many runners, unfortunately. We maybe made it a bit easier for him, but at the end of the day, you've got to be there to pick up those points, and he is here, and he's picking up points at the moment. 1.4 the gap. Meanwhile, up at the front, there it is. The gap now down to 1.7. Marklin was cruising 5 laps ago, but now the pressure's on, and the Mercedes driver will have to really start focusing on his apexes, on his lines, what he's doing with his fuel. It's all going to be ticking over now in his mind. Physical gap between the two. Nothing much really. 1.5 the time gap. And Kingdom Martin's so slow at this stage. He keeps dropping time to Salvatore. Of course, Salvatore is pretty much the fastest man on track at this stage, but he's catching. So he's dropping off ridiculously quickly. And this is just allowing Lilliard to cruise up behind the McLaren driver. These two, I believe, were fighting earlier on in the race. A little bit of lag there again from the Sauber driver. Nothing too major. Hopefully he doesn't get catapulted into a wall. Very tidy from both drivers. Nothing too out there. Lily able to take such tight line through turn 5, and that's where he's just able to pick off a tenth here and there. Is just so much tighter on the line. Salvatore now down to 1.3 as he comes down the hill into turn 16. 1.2 the gap. Can he get within DRS range? I wonder if he gets a good enough exit. But of course both these guys on the same tyre, and they're pretty much the same age as well. I think they pit, yeah, they did pit on the same lap, because I did mention whether Salvatore would hold him up or not, but no, he doesn't have DRS this lap. As you can see there, rear flap staying closed. Marklin just weaving around, trying to break that slipstream, but it's not good enough. Salvatore isn't 1.4 behind. There you go, 9/10 is the gap. He's brought that down from 4 and a bit seconds. Toying with Marklin for a while. Set to fastest lap, and all of a sudden it's come to life. This battle for first place. Both drivers are clean, neither of them have pens, so it is a battle for position. It should be all the time, but there you go. Some drivers pick up pens and others don't, and that's the difference between a good and a great driver. At the end of the day, able to just find those fine margins and work with those. The gap is a second as they come through the castle section now. We'll jump back on board with Lilly, who is currently just sitting at that 1.5 gap. He really needs to close it to within DRS range. He's got 6.5 laps left to try and get past this McLaren. At which point his softs are going to be not at their best, that's for sure. But remember, Kingdom Martin did pit on, I think it was lap 8 he pitted. Maybe even lap 7. He was a very early stop onto the mediums. And maybe just suffering a little bit of time wear. Of course, he's dropped about a second again, Salvatore. Lilly very close to that right hand side of the castle section there. We jump back on board with Salvatore now as they come through this fast left right section. Turn 18 and then turn 19 there. Just out of DRS range still. Obviously Marklin's seen that his competitor is close. Is he within DRS range? Nope. As you the gap is 1 second and 1,000th, but not quite sure how exact that is. But that was as they came over the activation, not the detection line, so he was probably a little bit further back than that. But he has got better straight line speed. Marklin touching the wall. Salvatore follows suit, and Lilly just beginning to drop back now. Maybe the fuel usage around here is beginning to catch him out. As you can see, Kingdom Martin weaving a little bit to try break the slipstream. Won't have too much of an effect. 2 seconds down. No one else really in a battle at all. Zane is going to clear frag quite easily by 5 seconds. So we'll stay on board with these guys for now. See what happens. Going up to lap George Roberts' ghost car for a third time. possibly put him off coming through there. It's not nice having another car having to go through another car to go through that castle section. It's hard enough on its own, let alone with another car sort of morphed into the apex, or the line should I say. And Lily is actually dropping off of Kingdom Martin here. I don't know if he's caught a wall somewhere or he's just saving fuel maybe later on. He's only got 5 laps left though. Salvatore continuing to just pluck away. He's going to have DRS now, of course. He's within a second, well within a second in fact. He'll probably get the gap down to around 2 to 3 tenths, depending on his straight line speed and depending on what fuel mode he's in. Marklin again, weaving around just to try to break that toe, but it's not going to be good enough. Salvatore gets that gap down, as you can see there, to what is pretty much a car length. He gets a much better run out of turn 1. This could be it here. This could be the move that has been coming for a few laps now. He's been gaining and gaining, clips a wall on the exit. Is that going to affect him that much? I don't think it is, because the toe is there. Marklin, is he going to defend? Nope, he's not, but Salvatore doesn't go for the moves. It's a very, very tight corner. And they're both very sensible to just take their line. But Salvatore is all over the back of Marklin. You can see there another bit of rear end twitching there. Just continuing to just force Marklin to either push the car harder and make a mistake, or just either get past himself, because Salvatore is so close. They come through the castle section, less than a car length separates them. You can't get much closer around what is technically a street circuit, although it is very high speed. Look how close he is coming through turn 15 and a massive rear end slide. It's good to watch, but I'm pretty sure he didn't enjoy it from the cockpit. Having to correct the steering like that, probably just got a little bit too much curve, but he is tucked in that slipstream now. We're right on board as they come through the kink at 19. The non-existent turn 20 there, as you can see on the right hand side. Very little adjustment to the wheel needed. He's closing. Is he going to be close enough to make him move into turn 1? Straight line speed isn't quite there. Oh, he's having a lunge, and he's so much later on the brakes. Still able to take a very decent line, even though he broke much later. Marklin in trouble, but again Salvatore hits the wall. Oh my goodness, and I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Hopefully that's not either of these two and it's just the server mucking around. See, the gap there was down to 1.39. Oh, sorry, 0.39. 0.139. That's how close these two were. The gap opening up again as they come through the corners. That dirty air not helping. Salvatore able to clip that curb though and catches a good couple of tenths. Looks up the inside. Of course, he won't make a move here. It's too tight, and you probably couldn't fit 2 cars through there even if you tried. This is where his previous F1 experience comes into play now. Be 3 laps to go as they cross the line. Lily's still unable to get close to Kingdom Martin. I think that might be that now. The gap was 1.9. It's come down by about a tenth for the last lap or two. Will Salvatore be close enough? That is the question. Can he get a run on the Mercedes? Hugs the apex through turn 19. He's in the slipstream already. He's closing. The DRS isn't even enabled yet. There's the activation line. He's going to be so close to Marklin. He's going to have a dive up the inside. That's a horrible camera shot. This is the one we want. The Ferrari up the inside, easy as you like. Has he gone deep? Maybe he has. And it's going to allow Marklin back up the inside and back into control of the race. Does he go deep? He does, and he slaps the wall. And that is game over. Salvatore has his front wing intact. Marklin hits the wall. And along with a horrific voice break, Salvatore is back into first place. And will continue to pull away now from the Mercedes of Marklin because he has front wing damage. Unless it is so non-existent that he can just nurse it and maybe even get back past, but he's struggling with the understeer, as you can see here, to really get close. And he's going to struggle massively through the kink at turns 18 and 19. Not suffering too much through the low speed corners, but of course downforce is created mainly by the car, not the wing, on these sorts of corners here. Just suffering a little bit of understeer. Can he stay close to the Ferrari? That's the question. Zane has pulled 20 seconds over frag. That's how much his front wing damage is costing him. Marklin, you see that? Cutting that corner, I say cutting, it's really apexing more than anything, but he's just understeering wide. That's why it looked very aggressive, and I don't think he's going to be able to produce anything better than second place now, unless Salvatore somehow picks up a 3-second time penalty. But even then, I think he could pull out enough time, and he clips the wall on the inside there. Kisses the wall with that front right. DRS in action, but he's not going to be close enough after turn 3. And then he'll fall away after that. Under braking, he's going to be struggling. See the gap there, down to 8/10, 7 and a bit. But as he comes out of turn 3, he will be much slower. Can only imagine. He is catching, of course, at this stage because it is just mainly straights. With 2 laps to go. Just don't think he's going to be able to hold out. Suffering understeer there, hits the wall again. Gets lucky actually and she gains time. This is where Salvatore's going to pull away because he's got that front wing intact. Clips the wall on the inside again. There you go, Salvatore shoots off. Much better exit. And we'll keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, Lilliat catching Kingdom Martin. He's got the gap down to 8/10 after dropping off. He's finally got the hammer down and is pushing for that podium spot. He wants to finish ahead on track. Of course, he doesn't actually need to finish ahead because Kingdom Martin does have a 10-second time penalty that will be added at the end of the race for skipping the 2-minute prep period that PSF1 have in place. And it is either a reprimand if they DNF or a 10-second penalty if they finish the race. So at this stage he is staring at a P4 rather than a P3, Kingdom Martin. It will only affect these two, it won't affect anyone else because Domain Dane is 25 seconds behind Kingdom Martin. And as you can see, Marklin is dropping right off. Oh, and he's lost more front wing. Surely he's not going to pit. No, because they're going on to the final lap now. Salvatore laps, guys are loading. He goes on to his final lap, which can basically be a parade lap because Marklin has not even got a front plate. And oh my goodness, what on earth was happening there? Guys are loading, of course, his teammate just allowing him to go through there. But he may, and it may be too much, but these two may catch Marklin depending on how bad that front wing damage is and how well he can nurse it. But I don't think Lily's going to actually pass him. But if he can get past Marklin, he'll get a P2 on his debut, and that is a very good achievement, that's for sure. He won't know this, of course. 22 seconds is the gap. I don't think it's going to be enough, you know. Although he's struggling, as you can see there, he's basically clipping every single wall. He's running so wide. I don't think it's going to be enough. The main place he's going to lose time is going to be in that final sector and the latter part of the middle sector, which is after the castle section. He's so slow. Look at him nursing that car. No downforce at all from that front wing, and he's actually hitting the wall there, bouncing off it. Guys alone lets him pass because of course he is a lap down. This is where he's going to struggle, and the understeer, he clips the wall again. Oh my goodness, gets very out of shape coming into turn 15. Down the hill, slow as you like. He's got a massive gap behind him, and his teammate isn't close enough to cause any issues. Lilliat, can he sight her? Is he going to do Kingdom Martin on the final straight just for effect? Salvatore is coming across the line now though. That is lapped car in front, but he will take the win here in Baku. And the 25 points. A very commanding drive. Very well thought out and very well raced in the end. Marklin's going to come home eventually in P2. He lost 10 seconds on that final lap, but he will come home in second place. Well nursed without that last lap. And it's Kingdom Martin who's going to finish ahead of Lilliat on track. But little does Lily know that he's going to get a 10-second time penalty and finish behind him. Lilliat will claim a podium on his F3 debut. And you see the gap just over 2:10, so close, but he will finish in front because of the time penalty that will be applied to Kingdom Martin for skipping the 2-minute prep period at the beginning of the race. Domain Zane's going to come home P5, Frag P6 and Zalmas P7 because Guys Loading has already crossed the line, so they will definitely finish in that order unless Frag or Zane manages to put it in the wall now, which would be hilarious, I must say. Zane crosses the line P5 after an appalling race. He actually lost more front wing. I think he pitted for 3, maybe even 4 front wings in the end. Frag's going to come home P6 as long as he can navigate his way through the final couple of corners. Nice and easy through here. That's why he's lost so much time, because he's having to lift through there. Zalmas, another pit stop behind. He's lost front wing both sides. As you can see there, end plates missing left and right. Frag will cross the line P6. It is very, very tricky to nail this track, and these guys have suffered the consequences of not being able to do that. Baku has taken its toll on most of these drivers. I think we only had 2 drivers that didn't have wing damage in the end. No, 3 actually, because no, sorry, because Marklin of course did get wing damage. So Salvatore and Liliart, I believe, were the only 2 not to get wing damage, because I think Kingdom Martin got it in his first stint. So congratulations to those guys who managed to keep it clean throughout. It is a treacherous circuit. Monaco is on this season as well, so we'll see how that goes. But only 11 drivers turned out, only 8 finished. Of course, we had 2 retirements earlier on in the race, and that is your podium. Salvatore takes the win. It is second for Marklin, even though he had that front wing damage that was basically meant he had no front wing at all. And in third is Kingdom Martin, but he will finish 4th because of the 10-second time pen that will get added to his race time for skipping the 2-minute prep period at the beginning of the race. So congratulations to those guys. And as you can see here in the final classifications, Zane actually managed to, of course, yeah, he was speeding in the pit lane, which is a 5-second pen, but obviously he finished 20, actually finished further in front than that. Actually, he finished a long way behind in the end. 30 seconds was the difference between Zane and Frag, so it won't make a difference there. Anyway, Zalmas comes home in P7, a disappointing evening for him. The Lee, of course, bidding it in the castle section early on. The McLaren of, I forget what his name is now, and I can't remember, but one of the new guys, and he crashed out several times and eventually left the session after retiring. The Williams of Lance Stroll was George Roberts, that's the one, but he left the session very early on, which meant that he won't be classified. Guys Loading will take home the final 4 points, because no points will be awarded for anyone that leaves the session earlier on. So that will be that. We are in, where is it next week? I tried to remember. I cannot remember at this current stage, but I think, but I may be wrong, that it is Russia no, it can't be Russia next week. Can not remember what is next week, but yeah, it'll be on the website, and you can check that there as well. But congratulations to everyone for today. We'll see you again next week. I cannot remember where the track is. Very underprepared today. Had to rush home, so yeah, that's the reason why it's so underprepared today, and the stream was late starting. So thank you everyone that's tuned in, and we'll see you next week. I cannot remember where the track is, and I do apologise. Very underprepared this week, but we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. See you later.